to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled Never Heard. You can actually find this film streaming right now on Great American Pure Flix. But first, let me tell y'all what this film is about. While his father spends his life in prison, Jalen is lured into the Los Angeles drug world. All that stands against Jalen, following his father's footsteps, is the power of prayer, as a girl he meets in church shows him that life offers other ways. Now, friends, this film was absolutely amazing. I really did enjoy it, just mostly because of the reality of it. And it just seems like no matter, even though this film was back out in 2018, so we're still, like 6 years, past this point, but it's still like, I know it's relatable. Like, it's the sad part about it is it's still so many Jalens out there in the world that we're living in, and that is so like unfortunate that people are going through what this character is going through in this film. But I do love that this film does offer hope and just kind of does lay out a blueprint for those of you who are, kind of in a situation like this, or know of someone in a situation like this, or at some point can reach out and help and be a part of, like different groups that reach out and go into these type of environments to be a light and give people hope in these kind of situations. Because here we meet Jalen, young kid here, grew up without his father, and he does have a best friend who is still like dibbling and dabbling in that street world. You can tell Jalen overall, like, his heart is really, really good. Like, his mom did an excellent job just raising him by herself. She instilled, his mom and his grandmother instilled a lot of godly things inside of him. So even though like he may have gotten off course here and there was always something pulling him back into the place where he was supposed to be. Like, he never really went too far off course, because there was just something inside of him that just wasn't letting him, just get into this life fully and completely. But at the same time, this was a little kid here, well, a young boy here that's growing into be a young man, but is still hurting and still dealing with those open wounds of not having his dad there and feeling let down, feeling a little bit abandoned. Also at the same time, still struggling with his relationship with his mom, although she's in the home, although she's a good influence on him, and she does love him, and she's been taking care of him, providing for him, and all of those wonderful things that a mom does. You can tell that there was a bit of a struggle there, because his mom is still dealing with those open wounds of being abandoned by his dad and all those different things, still rolling over and over in her mind about the past, still kind of living in the past, and at the same time trying to deal with the present and, trying to avoid certain things and wanting her son not to go down certain paths where that will lead him into a terrible future. But there was one thing that Jalen did say to his mom in his film that really did hit her hard. I know it hit us hard as the viewers watching, and that was the fact that he asked her this one question, like, why don't you say that you love me? And her automatic response was, that I love you. And and she, and the scene kind of ended with her was like, okay, enough of this mushy stuff. And I guess for single moms like that, you have to be strong, especially when you're raising a son, and it can like be like super, super strong, to raise a boy, without the father in a home. And I guess that's why she had a bit of that hard exterior on top of having been hurt by Jalen's dad. But I thought that scene was so powerful, because you don't usually see boys, in particular young men here, putting into words, being able to articulate the fact that he needed that affirmation. He needed, to hear someone tell him that he is loved, and someone to tell him that on a regular basis. As mushy as it so-called may sound from her perspective, it just shows that everybody, including guys, sons here, want to feel loved. They want to know that there are love. They want to be affirmed. And of course, his dad was not in the picture the majority of his life, especially those crucial years, when he's making that transition to becoming a teen here. I feel like his mom kind of like felt him a little bit in this area, because she was so strong, and I guess she felt like number one, she had to be, and number two, like, that's part of her personality as well, that she's not the mushy type. She's not the type that is going to just be all over you all the time and I love you, I love you, I love you, sweetheart. That is not his mom. You can tell that's not her personality, but at the same time, just by her actions, you can see that she does love her son. And I know that Jalen felt like his mom does love him as well, but it's one thing to just know that and just kind of expect it and assume it, but it's another thing to actually hear those words come out of her mouth. And that was just, I felt like that scene right there, I wish it would have went a little bit better, because I would have loved for her to say, I believe she probably did admit it, but I mean, put it in those words and put it in the way that he needs to hear it in that moment. You know, she was still being a bit strong and had that hard exterior in this moment, which was fine, because I understand that's how it goes, especially having that kind of experience. You know, myself have not haven't been raised by my mom alone, and just knowing that she had to be strong, because yes, she's not only raising a daughter, but she's raising many sons. So, and you don't want to get rant all over it. They need to know, okay, it ain't going down like that, that you need to hold your own, especially when you don't have that other support, that other half in the home. So I do get it, but I just kind of felt Jalen in that moment that, wow. And it was just amazing to me and beautiful to me that he was able to articulate that in a way where he wasn't disrespectful, he wasn't accusing her, he wasn't condemning her or putting her down or making her feel like she's failing as a parent, but all he was is just kind of letting her know in his own way that he needs a little bit more. And yes, I'm proud of you, Mom, for doing what you're doing and having done what you've done, but I could use a little bit more. I just need to hear those words because of what I'm going through. And I did appreciate that. It was just really nice to see in a scene like this, especially, you know, this film is taking place in an urban community, and I just feel like a lot of, you know, people from these type of communities get overlooked, almost like certain things are expected of you. Like it almost feels like people feel like, all right, you just, like, you're born for this, like you're built for this. And then people forget at the end of the day that just because you're from an urban community, you're of a certain color, like you're a woman, a man, girl, a boy of color, it doesn't mean that you're not human. I feel like people forget, you know, who are outside these communities, forget that aspect, that at the end of the day, we're all still human. Just what you expect people outside of this community to need as far as love and affirmation and opportunities, the same thing goes for people who are in these type of communities who didn't ask to be there, and it's just life took them there, or life has them there for whatever reason. They still are human. Everybody is still human. Everybody still needs love. Everybody could still use opportunities. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be heard. That is part of the reason we're dealing with as much, you know, stuff we're dealing with right now, with everybody using their platform, you know, basically trying to be heard, trying to be seen. I say most people, okay? There are some of us, you know, who are in a healthy space and just, you know, want to use it for God's glory, be an encouragement, be an inspiration, all that kind of stuff, you know, list of those kind of things. And then there's a lot more people who have been overlooked, who have not been seen, who have not been heard most of their lives, and they're just screaming for attention, they're screaming for approval, they're screaming to just want to be accepted and want to be affirmed. And I just feel like it's just so sad, and I feel like this film does shine a lot of light on that, and from a male perspective, which is needed a lot, because it's so many other films that kind of shine more light on the girls, the women, and all of that. You know, we get to be heard a lot in a lot of ways and throughout a lot of faith-based films, but it's so different. It's not as many that I would like to see. Hopefully we can see more of that for the young urban guys who are, you know, brought up in these kind of communities, that they can be seen and that something can speak more their language, and they can feel like, hey, that's me. Like, you can relate with the characters more because this is a person that dressed like you, or dressed like someone that you know. All these type of different things, you know. And I just feel like Never Heard has done that. Of course, you're gonna see some familiar faces, especially who are part of that so-called rap, hip-hop genre and different things like that. So I think that does help kind of, you know, usher people into it who probably would not have given certain kind of films a chance, because they will see certain familiar faces that they're used to or accustomed to seeing. But in another light, I feel like they would be more open to listening and really getting the message of the film. And so I feel like overall this film did a really, really good job, especially with what it was working with, the overall message, the underlining, voice here, and the audience and who it was for. I feel like it does do a good job of willing in the audience who it is for. But overall, with watching this film, I definitely feel like you're going to be encouraged, you're going to be inspired, and God is definitely going to be at the forefront. You're going to hear his voice, you're going to be thinking about those scriptures, you're going to be dropping in your spirit, all that good stuff. So before I leave y'all for this evening, let's go ahead and get into our scripture. And once again, this film is titled Never Heard, streaming right now on Great American Pure Flix. So we're going to be coming out of Mark 11:24, and it reads, "Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them." That's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching and supporting in whatever way that you choose to do so. Like commenting, sharing, all that good stuff, and just being here, just showing up does mean a lot. I just cannot say thank you enough, okay? So please remember to leave your thoughts, your prayers, your overall take in the comment section below, because I do read them all and I do enjoy hearing from you. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.